come in and sit down. Huge wow that I have to go over with you guys. The housing market, I believe, is going to crash. I know a lot of people believe it's going to crash. In looking at the numbers, I don't see how anyone could see it any other way. Yet they do. Not everyone agrees with me. I can't believe that. I mean, what's going on in the world? It looks like it's divided. Some people flat out just say, nope, not going to crash, forget it, and then insult you. And the other ones just say, no, it's not going to crash. So I thought I'd sit down with February numbers, keep an open mind, forget any knowledge I have whatsoever, just let the numbers speak for themselves. When I did that, I am more frightened now than ever before what I uncovered. I just really can't believe it. And I had to share it with you guys. It is wow. That's all I can say. But I do know for sure February is down year to year, 19.9%. Not a big shocker there. San Jose and Austin saw record levels of price decreases, 12 times the pacing of national average. Miami fell 40-some%. And frankly, Miami's been crazy with the increases so they could use to go down. I figured out while I was sitting looking at all of the numbers, you need to really look at the source that's giving you the information. When you look at Redfin, when you look at Zillow numbers, from reading all of this, they're all in it together. I wouldn't trust anything that they told you regarding the housing market. It's now more important than ever that all of us are educated and come up with our own analysis. The experts, they all have something to gain for giving you the information that they're giving you. And from what I can see, I mean, they're sneaky little things. The way they phrase things, you really have to be an expert to catch it. I can imagine the normal home buyer or anyone why they're confused and think that we're not going in a market crash. These guys are good, the way they phrase this. But wait till you see what I figured out. It's just mind-blowing. I look at this, and I'm going to put everything up on the screen for you guys. So I'm looking at the Housing Wire, and the title says, new home sales climb in February for the third straight month. Okay, no kidding. It's February. It's seasonal. It always does. What it really says, it's better than November, December, and January. No kidding. It always has been. That's a BS title used to fake people out. Then I looked at this. They said the median sales price of new homes was up 36.7% over February. And then I look at the next article, and this was from Redfin because their numbers just came out. And it says home prices fell 1% in February. First annual drop since 2012. And I'm looking at both of these. I'm like, no wonder people are confused because everyone's playing games. It's just crazy. They don't want to tell you the real numbers. First, I think we can all agree, or hopefully all agree, real estate lags the information behind, always pays slow. I mean, back in 2008, when everyone went through the crash, I was actually going through it in 2007 and had a year of thinking, to use a better word, I just sucked all of a sudden after 7 years being in real estate investing. All of a sudden, I must have lost my mind because for a year, no one talked about the crash. This is how I feel looking at this. No one's talking about a crash. They want you to keep buying homes. If you would have just done that in this past 2 years in some of these markets, you would have already lost all your equity and been underwater substantially. We're talking $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 you would have already lost. It is very serious, and there's misinformation. On both of these articles, I read seasonal adjustment made. If you ever want to figure out where anyone's hiding anything in data, is you look at the footnotes. When you see that little asterisk, you know some stuff's going down. You just got to look at it and see what they're hiding because it's always hidden in the footnotes. Okay, that's a big tip for you right there. I looked at the footnotes and it says seasonality adjustment. Okay, I've seen that a zillion times when in real estate because there is peak seasonality of it. A normal person would think maybe they're looking at this year the month has 31 days. It's a 5-week month instead of a 4-week month. I mean, different things that they would do and maneuver the numbers based on seasonality and or extra days in a month. Have you guys ever read what this seasonal adjustment actually is for real estate? I've never thought to look at seasonal adjustment and where it was derived from and what was the definition. It's not anything you think it is. I'm not joking either. This is straight off of our housing HUD administration. We use a computer called X13 ARMA Seats to derive our seasonal adjustment and produce seasonal factors. What? Okay. It is difficult to estimate seasonal effects. What? When the underlying level of this series changes over time. Wow. For this reason, the program starts by detrending the series with a crude estimate, not just an estimate. It's a crude estimate. It's a rather rude, crude estimate. Wow. Of the trend cycle. So let me just say that again because I couldn't help myself. This is the seasonal adjustment. This is what's been going on. We've all been reading that seasonal adjustment for years. Never thought to think, well, what does that mean? Because I thought like a logical person of what it should mean. So let me do it again. There's a computer that up in the world of the Housing Urban Development Center. There's a computer called X13 RMC to derive our seasonal adjustment and produce seasonal factors. It is difficult to estimate seasonal effects when the underlying level of the series changes over time. For this reason, the program starts by detrending the series with a crude estimate of the trend cycle. It then derives crude seasonal factors from the detrended series. Are you kidding me right now? I don't even know what to say. I mean, any numbers you look at, it's just based off of the X13 RMC's computer program that has very crude estimates and crude seasonal factors. If it rains, they might change the number. And I just wow, that just blew my mind. Wow. I just didn't think that's what seasonal adjusted meant. Then I moved on to the numbers that just came out, February's numbers right on the census. And I'll have this down below as well. This is absolutely unbelievable. When I was looking at the data and the charts and the trends, of course, we look at the footnotes because that's where all the fun is. It started talking about explanatory notes. And I'm like, all right, I signed up for this tonight. I'll be your huckleberry. Let me see what this one's all about. Explanatory notes defined. Look at this puppy. It takes 4 months to establish a trend for new houses sold. They're saying it takes 4 months to establish, and this report's only a month old, so it means nothing. Preliminary new home sales figures are subject to revision due to the survey method and definitions used. Okay, this is what's going to blow your mind. Their survey is based on a sample of the new building permits that have been submitted. What? That's what their numbers are based on for this report. I'm not joking you. It's based, why? Why would you base it on that? Why wouldn't you base actual sales in February from, I don't know, sales? Like HUDs, ALTAs, real data, not permits that were pulled for new homes. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? Then this is the best part, and you'll see it down below. The plus or minus for the accuracy is anywhere from 0 to 15%. Wow. Like if I would have gone in my early days to my boss and been like, I think I'm close, that or 15% off. No, you don't go 15% off. You go like 0.3% off. Less than 1% is a margin of error. 15% is a cluster, that's something else. That's not a margin of error, just so you know. Maybe that's why our budget's so messed up with the government. They think that's the margin of error. Wow. Holy heck, man. That's crazy. I just couldn't believe when I read both of those. I just thought that was wild. So you have to be so careful what you're reading and what you're watching. I mean, it just feels like they're all in it together. They all have the same message that home prices or sales are great, the whole inventories, everything's fine. Look over here. What I did is I did what everyone does, is I asked ChatGPT. Why not? It seems to be a popular way to find out answers now because I forget all humans right now because they're coming up with crazy stuff. And I asked, what are the key indicators of a housing crash? A lot of people have said to me that, it's nothing like 2008. Okay, well, does it have to be like 2008 to be a housing crash? I don't want to say the difference that I'm coming up with in my head because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, but here, I'll do it with this movie clip. This is the best way to describe it.
Would you rather get a bullet to the head or fired to the chest and bleed to death?
Are those my only two options?
That's exactly it. That's the example. Like, it doesn't have to look like 2008 to be bad, right? ChatGPT says, number one, how to tell if you are in a housing market crash. Decrease of home prices. Cha-ching. We have that. I know it might be not in your market yet, but I think everyone could agree. Of the top 100 markets, there's a higher percentage of huge decreases than there is increases. Increase in foreclosures. Okay, that one I'll give everyone. We don't have an increase of foreclosures yet because that takes a while. Jerome Powell and our Federal Reserve is working very hard to make sure the correct amount of Americans are unemployed. They've come out and said it. I don't think we can argue about that one. There are going to be a lot of job losses. Facebook just came out. They're going to lay off another 9,000. I mean, every day we're going to hear more and more about that. Unfortunately, that is going to drive foreclosures. That one, no, I would concede that one so far, but it's coming. Housing inventory. A high inventory of unsold homes. You know, everyone always says, well, you don't have the inventory. And it sounds like that, I swear. The housing inventory, based on these reports, which I don't know what to do now if I should listen to them or not. If sales keep up the same pace as they did in February, currently right now, this is not me saying it, this is the urban housing development saying it. Right now, we have 8.2 months of inventory if we kept the same pacing as February, based on their numbers. Housing inventory, that is a factor. I also did other videos that tell you and give you 6 different ways that in 2 seconds our housing inventory can change. Because I'm with you, I realize that it's not as much as it was in 2008. It doesn't need to be to have a housing crash. If you find value to this content, please like, subscribe. Really, regardless if you do or not, just please like or subscribe. Just kidding. An increase in interest rates. Okay, I think we've got that one checked. I think everyone can agree that that one definitely we have down as a signal for the market crash that we're in. And then housing starts is the new home builds, if those are up or down, and they're down, of course. So really the foreclosures, housing inventory not being super high. It is based on the pacing of Feb. I mean, we have 8.2 months of inventory according to our government. If there's no buyers, people can't afford homes, which we know they can't, then homes will keep coming on the market and our inventory will go up, let alone foreclosures, let alone shadow inventory, and all of the other things that I have said in the other videos. We are definitely, I believe, even after looking at these numbers and the total debauchery of the numbers of what they do, I mean, please check that out, what they're saying that their methodology is on. It's wild that we're definitely in a housing crash. I really am concerned about the banks. The regional banks have a hard time believing Jerome Powell, the Fed, more than doubled interest rates. They know there's mortgage-backed securities. They know banks have outstanding coupons and that they were going to lose billions of dollars. That had to be, I mean, it's not like they didn't know that. That had to be factored in. This can't be a surprise. So I'm waiting so what is the end game here? What is the shoe that's going to drop? The new home builders go to a lot of these regional banks for funding, so that they're going to be greatly affected. The other commercials, there's new reports of commercial real estate. All of these factors are going to come into play and are in play. Look for more bank closings. I don't see how anyone, and please, if you really feel that there's not a housing market crash, I'd love to hear why. I mean, is it just because your city right now doesn't see it? That's why there's not a housing crash? I would love to know, because I'd love to learn, like, why do you not see that we're in a housing market crash? I mean, in 2008, we didn't just wake up one morning and go, oh, there's a crash. My crash was a year before. I was, over on the sidelines going, what the heck happened? And that's what happens now. You just don't wake up in the morning and there's a crash. It's a progression of events, action, reaction. I'd love to hear your answer, though. Thanks for staying with me. I absolutely adore you guys, my C-noters. I will talk to you soon. Let me know down below what you think, if you think I'm right, we're in a housing crash, or if I'm not right. And then definitely check out the methodology down below, because it's crazy. Peace out.